Then also part of taking refuge in the Buddha, respect all images of the Buddha. Do not put them in lower, dirty places. Step over them, point your feet towards them, sell them to earn a living, or use them as collateral. When looking at various images, do not discriminate. This Buddha is beautiful, but this one is not. Do not treat with respect expensive and impressive statues while neglecting those that are damaged or less costly. Okay, so with images of the Buddha, and this goes for Dharma books as well, we don't put them in lower, dirty places, not because we're worshiping the image or the text, but because, you know, the text is describing the path to enlightenment, which we respect. The Buddha is the teacher of that path, a fully enlightened being that we respect. You know, if somebody sends you a check for $10,000, you don't put it in a low, dirty place and, you know, put your coffee cup on top of it and, you know, eat food over it and things like that. Somebody gives you a check, I mean, even not $10,000, even $1,000, you take very good care of that, don't you? You put it away, it's in a clean place, high place, you know, very good. You're not negligent, yeah? So, and the check can't even lead you to enlightenment, it's just a piece of paper. So, you know, the Buddha image is representing the enlightened one and the path. So, you know, we should respect that because that's something much more important to us. Okay, we don't point our feet towards them. So in the meditation hall, if you have to stretch your legs out, you stretch it towards some other direction. In your bedroom, you shouldn't set up the bedroom so that when you're sleeping, your feet are facing towards the altar. If you're doing yoga somewhere, again, don't, you know, point your feet towards the altar, or, you know, these kinds of things. Don't sell them to earn a living, because that's kind of treating Buddha's images like used cars. You know, you're just selling them to earn a living. Now the question always comes up, but what about, you know, the people at Snow Lion and Wisdom, and or even in Bodhanath or Dharamsala, they're selling the Buddha images to earn a living, and we buy the images from them, and we appreciate them selling these images, because otherwise, you know, if you're here and you can't go to Asia to get an image, you're very appreciative of that. So it's kind of hard to say in those situations. In general, I've seen, you know, like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he won't even take an offering from somebody who owns a shop in another country or in Asia that's selling images. You know, on the other hand, you know, some of his disciples at FPMT are running the business and selling the images. So, you know, usually what you do is any money from selling Buddha's images or from Dharma books, it's kept aside in a separate account. So like at the Abbey, we have an account that's called the Dharma account. When, you know, at the times when books are sold, they're going in there. Generally, that's why we ask people simply to make a donation. But if they write on their check, this is for books, then it goes into the Dharma account. Okay, because in their mind, they're giving it for Dharma publications. And then that money we use only for, we use it for offerings, and we use it for getting Dharma books for our library, for sponsoring publications of Dharma things for free distribution, you know, for sponsoring like Dharma-related items. So none of that money goes for food or housing or any personal items. We may use it to buy a computer to, you know, do the streaming for the Dharma, you know, these talks. That's where the money for that came from, as from the royalties, you know, from my books. So that's how we use it. And then I guess in olden times, people would sometimes use their Buddha images on collateral when they took out a loan. I don't think many people do that now. But the idea is the same, that you're just treating a Buddhist image as just, you know, like how you can make a buck. you know, how you can make a living. And that's not seeing the real value of a Buddha image or of a Dharma book. Okay? I remember Nick told me that Rinpoche told him when he did that just to do some purification, and remember that he's selling these things for, you know, or taking some of the donations that have been given, you know, because he needs to eat to do it, that to remember he's doing it for the benefit of sentient beings. Yeah. I guess in olden times, you know, people would ask somebody to do a painting and they wouldn't buy the painting, they would give an offering. So in that case, then the money could be used for the artist to eat, you know, or the same thing with a book. They would give an offering. So that's different than actually selling. Okay. And then also when we look at different images, don't say, oh, this Buddha's beautiful and this one's ugly, because you can say the artistry on this image is good, but not on that image. But, you know, the body of a Buddha can never be unappealing, can it? You know? And similarly is how we treat different images. We shouldn't just, you know, have high regard for beautiful images, but for ones that are chipped or cracked, you know, just kind of toss them in the rubbish or disrespect them or something. Sometimes what we do when we have satsa that are broken is then we put them in a high place in the forest. You know, the Tibetans used to put them in certain kind of, not in stupas, but certain kind of buildings. They would fill them with these things. Okay, but it's kind of like a mindfulness practice for us, so that we really, you know, respect the Buddha, respect the Dharma and the Sangha.